Welcome to those who are returning after my long absence, and welcome to those who are popping along for the first time. In the previous videos I did show all this, but I couldn't find the other wall section because I buried it under all my scattered rubbish. Yeah, so the joint down here is pretty good. The wall on the right is uneven, it's not perfectly vertical and it's not perfectly straight, and nor is that wall. I had to fit that wall, the brick section, to meet and fit this wall. If you ever decide to do the same as me and build a multi-pose building, work out how everything can be swapped over and still make it look as if it is all one piece. If that joint was uneven, it would act like a jigsaw and I wouldn't be able to lift that part out. It would be too tight. The thing is, I've got leeway in it to the left, so I can push it to the left and open that up, and then I can pull it straight up. And the reason for that is there's a slot cut out or filed out behind there, so looking from the front you wouldn't think there was any slot there, if you know what I mean. What I didn't show you was the other wall, so I'll take that out. And the other wall section, less damaged, but not worked on as far as the previous one. Place it into the left, drops down, and then push it to the right to close it up. Now the gap there is nowhere near as good as on the other piece. So what I'm going to do is show you how you tidy that gap up, and I'll do that right now. I'm using this stuff, claims that you'll never need to use nails again. I just use it straight out of the tube. I just shove a rod up the inside and just push it out. So I've got a little bit on there, I don't need much. Now that is going to be applied to the side of that wall along where the joint is going to be, but I don't want it to stick to the face of this wall. So I'm just soaking that with water. You might be able to see that I've already done this, but I'm doing it again. I'm not worried about the bubbly water or anything running down the face. That's just another layer to the weathering, and I like that bubbly effect anyway, as I said. So I'm just going to apply that to the inside edge of that wall with a matchstick. So just a bit. I've already done this a couple of times and then let it dry, but you apply it, wet the other wall, drop that in, and then push it over tight. It will splurge out like that. Smooth it off. I use my fingers, but a brush or a piece of tissue do the same job. Smooth it out and then give it a bit of a wiggle and pull it away, and then lift it out. Now you can see there it's starting to form a raggedy shape down the right hand side. Put that aside to dry. Now I've got to clean this off again. Don't want that to dry on there. If I left this on here, it would alter the profile of that wall and the other piece wouldn't fit anymore. I'd have to redo that piece again. So build it up a little layer at a time, clean it off, and then once that wall section's dry, put some more adhesive on there, and again repeat the process. You're putting less and less of the adhesive on it each time, and it will tend to stick to that wall better than it does to that, and eventually you'll get a nice neat joint. As you can see, that joint is already a lot better, and that is just after what I've done that was captured on video. I've not actually done anything else to it at all. One more application probably of the adhesive will give a nice joint. Smooth it off, obviously, sand it, and that'll be as good a join as the other one, if not better actually. So yes, that's it. It's dead simple and quite obvious really, but you have to allow for that left hand movement. The fittings down there on the ground floor are modelled on the inside. It's not finished, but you'd be able to see them if I took the roof off and you were looking at it from the rear, or through the windows if you were peeping through the windows. So you can't pin down the exact position of that window, the inner window, until that joint's done. I tried to estimate where the window would be, and that inside edge is more flush with the outer. If it ends up being too far that way, I can add another strip to it and bring it back to the right. But this one's going to need taking down because it's sticking out too far this way. So yeah, you can cut out your window aperture on the inside roughly, and then only when that joint is done can you then know the exact location of that inner window. So all these little things you discover by accident while you're doing it, or you might foresee them, and luckily in this case I foresaw all that. But yeah, that's one thing to bear in mind. This adhesive isn't dry yet, but you should be able to see it's taking on some of the character of the wall it's meeting up with. Yeah, that's quite good. It's getting there. One more go and a smoothing over, and that will be it. And then obviously I'll weather it to match, and you wouldn't even know that there was a removable section there. There could be a crack there in real life because you've got brickwork meeting up against stonework and then rendered over, so it could very well crack in real life. So even if a crack is still visible, it's not a disaster. Okay, so I think I'll call that it. I hope you found that useful. I'm not sure how many people do make multi-post buildings, but this is definitely a technique worth knowing. So take care everyone, see you soon.